Hi there, it's David, John the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to look at today is your short game, so really your pitching and your chipping around the greens, and understand how you can have a short game like a professional. I'm going to go through my 5 must-haves I do every time I play a chip shot around the greens, so you can get the understanding of what to do and help you to improve that short game. Now, it's the part of the game, I think, as soon as you get really inside 50 yards, it's not a power side of the game. This is an area of the game, you're pitching, your putting, you should be, or could be, that's the key word, could be as good as a professional golfer, because it's not a power side. It's just understanding what to do. And that's why I have these 5 golden rules that I go through to make sure I play the shot correctly. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go through a basic shot to start with, and then from there we're going to evolve it into 4 different shots. So the basic, I'm in front of the green here, nice lie, bit of green to work with, pretty standard, and then we're going to look at 3 other lies. What if we had to come out of rough? What if we had to come under trees? And what if we had to go over something? So we create different shots around the green just to show you how we use these processes to work. And we give you 1 golden rule if you can do it, and some of the shots we get today we may not be allowed to do it because of what's in front of us, but if you can do it, you stick to it, but we'll come to that in a little while. So what are my 5 golden rules? Okay. Number 1, look at the lie of the ball. The lie of the ball is everything. Now, if you're in the middle of the fairway, the lovely thing, anytime you get it, and I get a clean entry into the back of the ball, I can pretty much use whatever club I want. So we're looking at this shot here, and I would probably play this with something like a 56 degree, or even a gap wedge, something with a little bit of loft, because I want to land the ball on the green if I can. The lie allows me to do that. But if you're not comfortable with that shot, and this is the real importance of this video, there's no reason why you can't hit a shot that maybe will run the ball up there. Use something like a 9 or an 8 iron. That's absolutely fine. So that's an option you can do. We may come back to him later. So that's golden rule number 1. Look at the lie of the ball. Rule number 2 is then start to look at what's between you and the flagstick. Okay? On this occasion, we've got a little bit of fairway, then we've got the green. So you're working out where the flag is relative to that. And what that's doing straight away should be giving you a little bit of an imagination of the type of shot you're going to play. Number 3, choice of club. That's now going to fit that shot. So you've looked at the lie, you've looked at what's in front of you. As soon as you choose that club out of your bag, you must have an idea of what you're going to do. If you don't, stop. Start again. Look at the shot again. Develop that as you go through. Okay? And that now brings me to my extra golden rule. Is if I can do it, I always want to land the ball on the green. I call it my 2-step rule. There's a video out there already I've done. Go and watch it. And why that's so important to me is the best surface on the golf course should be the green. So if you land the ball on the green, you should have more control on the ball. That's what can happen from that position. Land it short, obviously if your golf course is well manicured, that might work as well, but you've thrown in the chance now of a little bit the unknown. All right, so we've got to the point now where we've got an idea of the shot we're going to play, and then we come to the 4th of our must-haves, is the setup has to fit the idea of the shot that you're doing. Okay, that's the key thing. I've got the idea. So I've got, on this occasion, I've got my 56. I've got around about 20 yards of fairway. It's a little bit of a drop down onto the green. And then I've got probably around about 12 yards of actual green. So I've got about 35 feet of green to play with. So if I play a decent ball, I'm using a Pro V1. If I'm using a reasonable ball with something like a 56 degree golf club, then this golf ball should stop well if I make a good swing. That's the key thing. So that's the imagination of the shot. Okay, so the 4th thing now is I've got to make a setup that fits that idea. Now I'm not looking for full power. I know if I hit a 56 at full power, I can hit it comfortably twice as far as this. So the first thing I do is I bring my power in and I narrow my stance. The second thing is I want to make sure all that loft is there on the club. So again, let it sit flat on its bottom, and I'll just bring that up to the camera. So there's the true loft of the club. Okay, make sure the club is sitting that way. What I see a lot of the time is people are closing the face down or trying to open the face up. The great thing with golf clubs nowadays, you can go into the shops, and I know this particular manufacturer makes wedges from 48 degrees all the way through to 62 degrees. So you can go and buy the degree of loft you want that works around your golf course. Okay, for me, in my bag, I've got my 50 degree, a 56 and a 60, and that gives me 3 options around the green, and I know 99 times out of 100 I can just use the club the way it's designed and it will work. Okay, that's the key thing. So we're letting the club sit there. So my setup is key. Club sitting neutrally, narrow stance. I like to play the ball middle to slightly back in my stance. That gives me the feeling that my hands are going to be just favouring the front of the ball, and it gives me the feeling of a descending blow down into the ball. And now what I've got to do, here's our 5th bit. Now I've got to make the swing. So this is the skill of the actual swing that I'm making. But I've got all the imagination of what to do, and just happens to be today the way the shadow is from that tree. I want to land it just really in my mind. This is comfortably 2 steps on into the sunlight. If I can land it into the sunlight, hit it correctly with this club, should get a decent result. So it looks good. What have we got as a result? Well, I think we've ended up pin high about 3-4 feet from the hole. So really happy with that. Now every time I play a shot around the greens, I go through this process. Okay, I look at the lie. This particular shot, we got a nice lie. Okay, the second thing then, I look at what's between me and the hole. So on this occasion, quite a straightforward shot. Okay, number 3 then, choose the club that fits the shot. 4, always looking to land if I can 2 steps on. That's our golden rule. So that's not number 4, that's an extra rule. 4 is my setup. So I go a little narrower, a little bit back in my stance. From there, making sure the true loft is there. And then 5, make the swing. Looks again pretty good. A little bit stronger that one, but still probably within about 6 to 8 feet. So as a professional golfer, from this distance, what would be a good shot? Inside 10 feet. Now I've hit one probably about 3 feet, 3.5 feet away, and the other one probably double that, 7 feet. So very happy with that, but very simple. Now, if you're not happy with that shot, again, you may have gone through it and your mind may have been looking at it and saying, well, I don't need to hit the ball high here. There's nothing in my way, I can run it. So I've got a 9-iron. So that changes the whole idea of the shot. I'm not going to land this ball on the green now, because if I do, it's going to run off the back. But it's another option. I've got a lovely lie. I've chosen a shot now, imagination, where I'm going to land it short because I don't believe I need to go high. I can run it down there. But look what happens when we get to step 4, which is setup. All I'm really going to change is I'm going to grip a little bit further down the club. Everything else stays the same. I'm going to go with the same width of stance, same ball position. What I'm doing is I'm trusting the loft of the club. So I've gone from 56 degrees to now something nearer 40. And I'm expecting the ball now, through experience, to go lower. So that will land shorter and run on more. But I don't want to change my setup. As I said, all I've changed, maybe I might grip a little bit further down the club because it's a slightly longer club. And then from there, change the swing to fit it. Obviously don't need as big a swing because I'm going to hit it a shorter distance through the air. But let's see what we get. So it's another option. Just short of the green. Run up. Well, happy with that. That's ended up pretty much around about where the first one ended up, around about that 3 to 4 feet from the hole. So you can see we've kept it very simple on this shot. Let's recap those 5 things and then we're going to create some different shots. So number 1, look at the lie. How is the ball lying? If you've got clean entry into the back of the ball, that gives you total freedom to do what you want. Number 2, look at what's between you and the hole. In this case, nothing really much to worry about. So we had 2 options of what we could do to get the desired result we want. That then chooses the club. So you're imagining the shot. And you're already getting the idea. Yeah, if I'm imagining the shot, what is number 4? The setup. Number 5, the swing itself. So as soon as you pull that club out of the bag, you should have an idea. The more you do it, the more you're going to find yourself automatically choosing the right idea to get the desired result you want. So that's our idea, that's our process. Let's go and find 3 other shots, show you how we're going to apply that to it and how you can start to get a pro short game. So here's our second shot, and what we've got now, very different shot. We've got a little bit of an indifferent lie, but it's not bad. The rough here in this particular area isn't bad. So we're looking at the lie number 1 and we can see, yeah, I can get into the back of that ball pretty cleanly. There's no issues there. So that straight away gives me the option of club. Now number 2 is then look at what's between me and the hole. And straight away you can see the overhanging trees. We've got a bit of a bank to go up. And now look at how much green we've got to play with. Okay, we've now only got probably 10 foot of green to play with. But here's the smart play. All right, this is really important. I don't know many golfers who are going to take more shots when they've got their putter in their hand than if they've got some sort of chipping club in their hand. So the first thing now I'm going to look at here, relative to what's between me and the green, is actually look at how much green I've got the other side of the flag. So a lot of people here try and be cute. They're trying to get the ball up that bank. They hit the bank and it rolls back down the bank, and they haven't really got rid of the problem, and they've taken an extra shot. So for me, here's another thing I'm looking for. I've got at least 30 foot of green the other side of the flag. Now, what would be a good shot from this position? I think that's really important to understand. From our standard shot where we had nothing in the way, a good result would probably be for a pro golfer inside 10 feet. Now, because this is a little bit trickier, I'd say I'm looking at around about 15 feet. Now, I don't mind where that 15-foot circle is, but 15 feet short means I'm not on the green. So I could get 15 feet past, and that gives me an opportunity. Probably from this position, it's only about a 1 in 5 that I'm going to get this up and down, whereas from the other position, it's probably near a 50-50 chance as a professional golfer that I'd get that ball up and down. So that's really important to sort of get clear in your mind. So your expectation is in line with your play, but I'm giving you everything to do with what a pro golfer would do. So on this occasion, I need to keep it low because of the trees, and I need to be positive to get it past the flag. But then what I get a lot of golfers do, they'll just bash it as hard as they can, and they're in the bushes over the other side. So it's really important. Just take your time, think it through. What are your options? What are you going to do when you play this shot? So that now chooses the club. So I've got 3 clubs here. My 56, well, if I play that, I'm probably going to hit the tree. So that one's out the window. Don't want him. I could use that 9-iron shot. That worked quite well over there. And probably for me, because I play that shot more often, that's the shot I'm going to play. But I've brought a 3rd club along, a little hybrid club. And I've found a lot of golfers, again, especially if you're a little bit higher handicap, you can just sort of do like a putting stroke with this. And because of the sole of the club, it just runs through the ground. So we'll do what we did on the other one. I'll play 2 shots with the club that I would normally play. And then physically from there, what we're going to do is we'll have a go with the hybrid and see how that works out. So 9-iron is definitely going to keep me lower than there. That's the key thing. So I'm up to stage 3. I've chosen the club. And now I've got to think, well, what's the setup? What's the play? Now, here's the good news. I'm not really going to change my setup from what I did from the middle of the fairway, because I'm going to play the ball low. So what did I do? I played it narrow stance. I played it ball middle to back in my stance, hands then favouring the front of the ball, and just get the feeling that I'm getting that ball running up the bank here onto the green. Simple as that. Now again, it's imagination. How many times have I played this shot? Well, compared to that shot, it's probably 1,000 of those to one of these. So that's why I'm probably going to be a bit better at that shot over there, where we played from a standard lie to this shot. So again, now it's experience, and the one thing I can't do here is land the ball physically on the green, because it's going to go the other side. So what I'm looking for is just that shot running up the green there, up onto the green, back foot, pop it forward. Now, there's that shot we said. I tried to be a little bit clever, and I've ended up 2 feet short of the green. So here's my thing. I didn't do what I set out to do, which was the goal was to get that ball up onto the green. So I'm going to learn from that. That's a key thing. Learn from it every time. So from there, back foot, a little bit firmer. Yeah, that's a better shot. And that's going to run about 8 to 10 feet past the hole, but that's okay. All right, so there was our other option. Again, not a shot that I've played much of before, but can I play the hybrid type shot? Okay, we'll just roll that ball, let it go wherever it's going to go. Got the tree a bit closer to me behind me now. But again, like a putt. Now, the only thing I find a little bit awkward with the shot is it feels as if the club is a little bit too long. So that's why I'm not a big fan of this, but give it a go. I'm quite happy with that second 9-iron result. I'm going to do the same setup. Narrow stance there, just a long putt. Get it running through. We're up onto the green, probably around about 7 feet away from the hole. But actually playing that shot, and it's not a shot, I've probably only played that shot in my life, not even 100 times. It felt quite good. So again, it's another option. That's the key thing we're looking for. As we go through these shots, go through the process, but develop skills that give you options how you want to play these shots around the greens. So that's shot number 2, where we've got okay lie, but we've got to go under some trees, up a little bit of a bank, not much green to work with. We got a bit greedy on the first one, the one thing I said I didn't want to do, and we didn't get it on the green. I'd still back myself to get down in 2 from there, but the other 2 I'm now able to get the putter on it, and the opportunity then that I'm going to get down in 2 from this position, which I'd take all day long. Let's go and look if we had a bunker in our way and how we would play that. So here's our third lie, and it's that shot going over a bunker to the flag. I've come to a different green here, and just to look at what we've got about 10 yards to the bunker. We've got another 10 yards really to get over it, and we've got probably around about just under 10 yards of green to the flag. And then we've got, let's look at what we talked about on the last shot, we've got roughly another 20 feet past the flag. Now I've deliberately chosen this shot, and you probably look at it and go, well, he hasn't got much bunker there to go over. But this is the one that I see golfers, and this is where you've got to get that skill level up, where will you take that shot on, or is the better option to just go out to what I call the fat part of the green, the bigger part of the green. So let's do our 5 golden rules. The lie is okay, all right? The lie is all right. We're just off the back of the green. This time of year, we're now into sort of May, but we've had a really dry sort of couple of months here in the UK. It's quite, already it's more an August sort of looking lie where it can get a little bit bald, but there's the good thing. I've got a clean lie into the back of the ball. So that's a good clean entry into the back of the ball. So that allows me to do whatever I want. So that's the first thing I look at. Second thing, what we talked about, what's between me and the hole. So now if I want to get this really close, 15 feet would be a good number. It now chooses, the club chooses it for me if I want to play it right next to the flag, 56. I've got to go with loft. Might even go 60 degree here, but I'm going to play my 56. Okay, so now that creates the setup, creates the shot. And again, because we're playing a similar distance shot, I'm not changing the setup. I'm trusting the golf club. So that narrow stance, ball slightly back in my stance, hands favouring the front of the ball, make sure the true loft is there, picture the spot where you want to land it, commit to the shot. So now it's down to the swing, commit to it, up we go. Now, played that a little bit firmly, okay? If I have a weakness in my short game, if I tend to see something that creates a little bit of a problem in my mind, and generally that would be bunkers, I would tend to slightly overhit. I'm only gone probably 20 feet past, okay? But it was a lovely strike. So if I'm learning that shot, now I've got to trust myself to really visualize where I'm going to land this ball between the edge of the green and the flag. So I'm going to stick with my 56, same stance, just make a slightly shorter swing, back myself. Yeah, that came out lovely. And that's landed really soft, and we're probably inside a putter's length. So that's the other thing that's really important as we go through this. Make sure you learn from each shot. What I learned from the previous shot was a lovely strike, but I just overhit it. So I didn't want to change my technique. I didn't want to change the strike. I've just got to feel the difference in the shot. As I said, the other option I could play out there, I'm having fun playing that one, so I don't really want to play this, but I'm going to do it anyway. But if that doesn't favour your idea, you can still play our rules. Look at what we've got now. Imagine the shot. There's no rough grass there. I can run it out to that part. There's my technique. Play it out to that area of the green. Keep it away from the bunker. And I've probably ended up around about my number, my 15 feet. But it's another option. That's what we're looking for here as we go through these shots. What are your options? Keep them open. If you do, the more options you've got, you definitely will start chipping more like a pro, because they've got lots of options, and that's why they're so successful around the greens. So that was our third shot. Now let's find one where we can get a little bit of rough around the ball and how that's going to affect the shot and what you're going to do there. So here's our final shot. We've got a little bit of rough. We've got a little bit of a downhill slope. We've got a bunker waiting the other side of the green. For most golfers, this is the recipe for disaster, because we've got not so much trouble around the ball, because we've got a first lie, we haven't got a decent lie, but now we've got something the other side of the green. So this is all about imagination. This is all about your first 2 bits are so important. Look at the lie of the ball. Can't really see that ball clearly because it's sitting down in the grass, okay? I've now got downhill lie all the way, and then it drops down onto the green quite a bit, drops a 4 or 5 feet drop. And what have I got? I've got probably about 20 feet of green before the flag. I've got 15 feet behind the flag. And something we haven't even mentioned in this video, I've got wind behind, okay? We haven't even talked about the weather and how that could affect the shot. But I've got wind behind. So everything here is saying to me that one of 2 things can happen. Because of the lie, and it's sitting down a little bit, contact is everything. That's the first priority. If I get the contact right, I'm giving myself an opportunity. The second thing then is, how is it going to come out of that lie, and how's it going to react down that ground? So again, a lot of this is experience. So I would say to most people that the best shot here would be some sort of running shot. Okay, I want to land the ball. I can't land the ball on the green here. If I land it on the green, I'm landing on a downhill slope from a lie that is not going to give me much spin, and I've got a bunker waiting for me. So I've got to land it short of the green. So now this is the imagination. So I've got two options. I could go with my 56, or I could go with my 9-iron. They're my two clubs I keep using. I'm actually going to start with the 56, and the reason why I'm going to do this is because when the ball is sitting down in the grass, the most important thing I want to do is get it up and out of the grass as quick as possible. So with the loft that I'm giving myself here, it gives me that opportunity. I think that's really important to understand. So then I've got to work out then, how is the ball going to react down that lie? So that's the importance now of really the final bit, which is the power side, the swing itself. But I'm just sort of feeling that. Now what I will tend to do, if I want to miss that grass, I want the club to go a little bit more up and down. So what am I going to do in my setup? Well, I'm actually going to put the ball right off my back foot. So if I play it more from here, the club now wants to go more up. The low point is here, so I'm hitting much more down on the ball. And the idea is I'm going to miss some of the grass. But here's the thing that's going to happen with the club. The more I put it back in my stance, the more I'm going to lose loft on the shot. Well, that isn't a bad thing, because what we said, we want it to come out low and run down there. So it's going to become more like a gap wedge the way I'm playing it. So you can see how my brain is working all these things out. My 5 key things: the lie of the ball, what's between me and the flag, on this occasion the weather, also the bunker behind. Okay. Then I'm working out in my mind the club and the setup and then the swing that's going to play the shot. Now, when you play out a rough, it's a little bit the unknown how the ball is going to come out of that rough. So again, this is a shot from here. Get level of expectation, 20 feet would be a good number. Okay, if I get this down in 2, I'm going to be overjoyed. But down in 3, that's about the average from this position for a professional golfer. They get in the rough, it becomes trickier to get the desired result you want. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that wind's picking up as we're going through this video. Okay, so really important as we go through this to understand the shot and how we're playing it. Okay, so now we're going to put all those ideas together. So I'm looking to land this probably halfway to the green, that back in my stance, that feeling going up. What goes up's got to come down, get to the bottom of the ball. Well, I've played the shot I thought I wanted. And it's one of those occasions, let's put another one in there because we'll do another one in a minute, is it came out perfectly, came right out of the middle of the club, really happy with that shot. And it's landed and died. It's hit a downhill slope and it hasn't gone on. I've probably ended up about 18 feet away. When I hit it, I was expecting that to be inside a flagstick length. So now here's the key thing. I felt I got a bad bounce there. I didn't feel I played a bad shot. So don't change a thing. Okay, if it keeps happening, then you have to make an adjustment. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly the same shot. Play it back in my stance. Going to go a little bit further right. It kicked a bit left. Up, down. That one's come out a bit quicker. Okay, and what I'm learning is, yeah, sit down, sit. Yeah, that's run about 6-8 feet past the hole. So really happy with that. But what was interesting, that one came out a lot quicker. Okay, so what happened was a little bit of the grass got between the ball and the grooves and it popped out a little bit quicker, but it ended up a really good result. So I'm not disappointed with that. Okay, so again, let's stick it down in the rough. Let's find a bit more rough here. Yeah. So I would be happy playing that shot. If you're not, and that scares you, you have got your 9-iron. Okay, the problem I think then with this club is I'm going to get caught up a little bit in this grass behind the back of the ball. But again, play the same idea of shot, see what you get. You can't land this on the green to get a result. So it's got to be short, use the slopes, back foot, pop it forward. We're running down onto the green. That one's probably ended up about 15 feet away. So hopefully what you can see there, and I'm a big believer in getting a routine. And I get a lot of people sort of go on in my videos and go, oh, he's just saying the same thing over and over again. Well, let's explain why I do that. On average, it takes somebody to be told 20 times to do something. Okay? Now you think, wow, how does that work? Well, A little bit, maybe the person doesn't understand what they're being told. They're not really concentrating on what they're being told. And those factors then don't allow them to play the shot that they want to play. So we're going through this, and hopefully what you can see is through these 4 different shots, I haven't really changed the technique. I've maintained a consistent technique with the ideas. And that makes it so much easier. All I've got to do is work out, what does each golf club do? My 9-iron, my gap wedge, my 56, my lob wedge, my hybrid, all those different clubs to give me options for the different shots that I've got. But when I turn up, I have those 5 must-haves. Number 1, look at the lie. Okay, from your experience, work out what it's going to do. But if you've got clean entry into the back of the ball, even if you're in the rough and it's sitting up a little bit, you've got clean entry, you now know you're going to get much more control on the ball. Number 2, look at what's between you and the flag. We've given you different shots today. We've given you over bunkers, under trees, out of rough, standard shots. Different shots, different ideas of what I'm going to do with those shots. Some I would play the 9-iron, some I would play my little bit more lofted club. 3, that chooses the club for you when you see what's in front of you, and also dictates your setup. You've seen how I've kept the setup very, very simple. Okay, haven't changed it. I've maybe moved the ball position fractionally when I had this particular shot in the rough where I wanted to come down a little bit steeper. And then it's the swing. Just feel the shot. But as we saw earlier, I haven't played every shot perfectly today, is learn from those shots. That under hit on the one under the trees, the over hit over the bunker, learn from it. And if you do, you'll start to feel the results that you want, and you'll start to get the result you want. We had one final rule we put in there today. If you can do it, and on some of these shots today we couldn't, land the ball always on that green, that 2-step rule. Please go and watch that video to go through that idea. The greens should be the best surface on the golf course. You will get more consistent bounces and reactions on the greens, so land them on the green if you can. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please subscribe to the channel. Please share it with your friends. More people looking at the channel, that's great, because then that allows us to maybe add extra bits to the videos, make them a little bit more interesting, get another camera angle as we go through. But the more people watching, the better for the channel. And I look forward to seeing you soon.